Coming up tonight on the news at 6. Lewis and Clark Public Health prepare for another round of COVID-19 vaccinations. We'll break down their plans. Plus,
it's truly amazing where we've gotten to from where we started.
We take you inside the new Lewis and Clark Library building.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Good evening. Welcome to the news at 6. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Well, new information tonight in a Great Falls mobile home fire. A body was found inside the home. Now, the victim has not been ID'd yet. Firefighters responded to the home in the 5400 block of Lower River Road around 8 a.m. When they arrived, the home was fully up in flames, but they were able to put out the blaze quickly. Neighbors say they called 911 after people outside alerted them to the fire. The Great Falls Fire Department and Cascade County Sheriff's Office are investigating the situation, and no word on what caused the fire just yet. But this is a developing story, so stay with us for the very latest right here on air and online. Lewis and Clark public health leaders are getting ready to roll out the next large round of COVID-19 vaccinations to local healthcare workers. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian takes a closer look at their plans.
There are as many as 6,000 healthcare workers in Lewis and Clark County, and starting this week, they'll be next in line to receive a COVID-19 vaccination.
All the folks that are involved in that industry and keep it on its feet and keep people safe and healthy, that's who we're going after right now.
On Tuesday and Wednesday, Lewis and Clark Public Health and its community partners will hold their first drive-in vaccination clinic for healthcare workers only. They plan to give out about 500 doses of the Moderna vaccine over 2 days.
We do hope in the coming weeks after that to ramp that up a little bit, because we do want to make sure that we're getting vaccine out as quickly as possible, and 500 a week wouldn't be on par with where we want to be and where we need to be.
Public Health is coordinating vaccine distribution in the county, working with St. Peter's Health, Peerview Health Center, the Helena Indian Alliance, and other organizations. Several healthcare providers in the county have already started vaccinating their staff. Long-term care facilities will also be receiving a separate allocation of vaccines through national pharmacies. CVS Health announced last week that it would begin working with about 100 long-term care facilities across Montana this week, providing vaccines for more than 13,000 residents and staff. Health leaders say it's important to complete the first round of vaccinations as efficiently as possible, to get closer to when they'll be available for mass distribution.
I want the general population to understand it's coming. This is a very safe vaccine, highly effective, and it's coming in the short term here. We just have to keep doing those public health protections in advance of when we get that vaccine, and even after we get the vaccine. It's not going to go right back to normal life, but it will very quickly get to that point. So this is really exciting.
Public health leaders say they hope to offer vaccinations to the majority of people in the first phase by mid-January. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Public health officials say the vaccines for this week's clinic have all come from an allocation to St. Peter's Health. And COVID-19 deaths continue to climb in Montana, even as active cases and hospitalizations fall to levels not seen in months. Local and state numbers show 12 additional deaths, raising the statewide death total to 974, while active cases have fallen to around 5,400. Now, active cases have not been that low since early October. Active hospitalizations have dropped to 213. Active hospitalizations were more than twice that during mid-November and early December. All right, now it's time for a check of our forecast with Andy Curtis, who's filling in for Curtis Grevenitz.
Yeah, thanks, Marian. Welcome back, everybody. Taking a look out there, weather is really calm across the state, which is surprising to me. In the last couple of weeks filling in on and off for weather, it seems like we've been dealing with a lot of wind, and that is not the case tonight. Smooth sailing, fairly clear skies, and pretty calm across Montana. Taking a look at Great Divide, there's snow up there on the mountain, but not a lot of snow in our forecast, with temperatures in the 30s, 40s, and high 40s, even pushing into the 50s this weekend. It's going to be a mild and a little windy end to 2020, but there is a slight chance of some weekend snow. I'll tell you more about that coming up in the full forecast.
Well, now that President Donald Trump has signed the COVID-19 relief bill, millions of Americans anxiously await their stimulus checks. Meanwhile, battles are brewing on Capitol Hill over whether those checks should be much larger. NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest from Washington.
New battle lines emerge on Capitol Hill.
I am telling Donald Trump, don't just talk about it, act. These Senate Republicans have followed you through thick and thin. Get them now to act and support the $2,000 checks.
Democrats trying to push through bigger payments for Americans, something President Trump demanded even as he signed a $2.3 trillion aid package, which gives $600 in direct relief for Americans, as well as rental assistance. It restarts unemployment programs that expired over the weekend and keeps the government funded.
The House will be in order.
Today, the House seeking to more than triple the direct payments to $2,000, leaving the president oddly aligned with Democrats and opposing his own aides who negotiated the deal, and many Republicans who have come out against the payments.
We've got 20-some days left. We just have to do what's right. And the bottom line is we need to stand up for people that are hurting right now during COVID.
Despite some GOP support, a new bill with higher payments facing an uphill battle in the Senate. President-elect Joe Biden has said whatever is approved now is just a down payment on relief that will be needed early next year. The House also voting today on whether to override a presidential veto of a bill funding the U.S. military. The president objecting to items in it, including protections for social media companies. Susan McGinnis, NBC News, Washington.
Well, a group of Republican state lawmakers are saying they will fight the Montana Water Rights Protection Act. The act was part of the omnibus spending bill and COVID-19 relief bill. The act resolves decades of negotiation and dispute over tribal water rights in the Flathead Basin, providing a $1.9 billion settlement to the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes. A statement backed by a dozen Montana representatives, including House Majority Leader Brad Cheetah and 6 Montana senators, called the Water Rights Protection Act a clear betrayal to the state and to the president, and accused Republican U.S. Senator Steve Daines of slipping the language into the bill. The group says they asked Daines to allow this issue to be resolved in Montana, and that Daines' vote for the omnibus spending and COVID-19 relief bill showed a, quote, blatant disregard for the will of the people, end quote. Now, in response, Senator Daines' office called the bill a win for all Montanans and said, quote, Senator Daines has been transparent with all Montana voters who overwhelmingly reelected him about this spending bill, including working with folks on all sides of the issue to get feedback and revise the bill to make it better for all Montanans, end quote. Daines' office says without this bill, thousands of Montanans would have been forced into expensive litigation. And now that the president has signed that massive government funding package, Montana breweries and distilleries will get some much needed tax relief. The Craft Beverage Modernization and Tax Reform Act makes a reduced tax rate on small breweries and distilleries permanent. Senators Jon Tester and Steve Daines co-sponsored the bill and supported adding it to the year-end spending deal. The lower rate was put in place 3 years ago and was set to expire January 1st. The Montana Brewers Association says its 45 members would have had to pay a total of $800,000 more in taxes without an extension. Now, leaders say local breweries have already been hit hard by lower taproom sales, and a tax hike would have been disastrous for them. And still ahead on the news at 6, get a look inside the brand new Lewis and Clark Library.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. Thanks so much for spending some time with us this evening. Now, while the Lewis and Clark Library is closed to the public, with the exception of hold pickups, there has been a lot of work going on inside the building. MTN's John Riley takes us inside that new library.
It's been nearly 2 decades since the last major improvement to the main branch of the Lewis and Clark Library. After more than a year of work, they're finally wrapping up their remodel and upgrade.
Where we're at right now, it's truly amazing where we've gotten to from where we started. Thanks to COVID, construction actually picked up pace in the spring and early summer, but as COVID wore on, there were some labor shortages with some of the subcontractors, so things kind of slowed down a little bit. But now we're practically done with major construction, and it's just stuff that the library staff is doing right now.
The remodel features expanded and improved community rooms, and a new discovery room for crafts and other messy programming offered at the library. The children's section has also been expanded with a Sleeping Giant themed reading area and more space for story time and other events. The library has also drastically increased the amount of reading and workspaces, including a new area that overlooks both Anchor and Pioneer Parks. Finn says the $6 million remodel is looking to come in just under budget and will help the library become, quote, Helena's living room.
We think that that's going to be part of libraries in the future, that whole idea of being a community gathering space where people come and not only check out a book, but share ideas and use our rooms to have programs and meet with other people.
The hope is that it will help redefine the meaning of the library to be synonymous with community. The Lewis and Clark Library wants to thank the community for their support and understanding during the pandemic. Staff guarantee, once it's safe to do so, there'll be quite the celebration in order to commemorate the new Lewis and Clark Library. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
All right, now with another look at the forecast, here's Andy Curtis.
Not a bad day across Montana, not a bad evening. Things will get cool out there, of course, but they will remain calm. Not a bad way to end 2020 because the rest of this week will be looking very similar, if not a little bit warmer than what we were seeing out there today. I'll tell you about that coming up after the break. Welcome back, everybody. Andy Curtis filling in one more time tonight for Curtis Grevenitz. And one more time tonight, taking a look at that temperature up in Great Falls. 31 degrees out there on the thermometer, but it feels a lot cooler than that, 21 degrees. And it also feels pretty calm, especially for the Great Falls area. Wind only clocking in at 14 miles per hour, so that's really good. And you might want to get your hopes up and expect that calm wind factoring into tomorrow's forecast as well. We are lucky enough to have a couple of calm days here as we start the final week of 2020. 25 degrees in the capital city, wind calm and almost non-existent there as well. Feels like 17 degrees. And across the state, look at this, 9 miles per hour in Cut Bank. And if you really want to drive the point home at how calm it is wind-wise across Montana tonight, take a look down at Livingston. Only 9 miles per hour right now. Yes, 9 miles per hour. That's the wind speed in Livingston. So a very calm start to the week across the state for us. And that'll be the case heading into tomorrow. Taking a look here at the future tracker, very calm to start Tuesday. As we get into Tuesday evening, though, the wind will start to pick up in the usual spots. Cut Bank creeping into Great Falls, of course, along the Rocky Mountain front, seeing speeds jumping up into the 20s and 30s. And then as we get fully into Wednesday morning, turns into Wednesday afternoon, yeah, that wind is back, spread across Montana. So Great Falls, Havre, Cut Bank, of course, the Rocky Mountain front will be dealing with some pretty noticeable windy conditions. Speeds 20, 30 plus, depending on where you are, you could be into the 60 range, but that's more up in the Rocky Mountain front. So taking a look at temperatures right now, things are cooling down out there, but not too cold, not outrageously cold for the end of December. 29 degrees in Cut Bank, Havre 18, Lewistown 27, so low 20s is where we're going to settle into for tonight. So a typical December evening, not too bad, I'd say, across the state. And we're pretty calm across Montana right now. Another dry and calm evening. And as we get farther into this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're really not expecting too much to change as far as snow or even rain for that matter. A little cloud cover as we get into Tuesday morning, but it should start to clear out as we get into Tuesday afternoon, and we should look pretty nice. Temperatures in the 30s with a good amount of sunshine. Now Wednesday, things start to change just a hair, but really not too much that will change any of our plans around here. You can see some snow creeping in and crossing that northwest border, but that won't really penetrate too far. You can see it gets down to Helena on the radar, but it really won't amount to anything. That'll probably, if any snowflakes fall on Wednesday, they'll be really high up in the elevations in the mountains, so nothing that we will have to worry about, I'm thinking right now. 7-day forecast in Great Falls, 34 tomorrow, and again, another very calm day. Wednesday and Thursday, New Year's Eve, temperatures looking pretty good. We're in the 40s, a good amount of sunshine, though like we just saw, that wind will start to pick back up as we head into New Year's Day 2021. Down in the Helena area, just a little bit cooler. We're in the high 30s and a little bit calmer for the most part. Windy on Wednesday, but New Year's Eve, no wind whatsoever really to speak of as we head into New Year's Day. So we'll be starting 2021, not too bad, 37 degrees for the high, and then that weekend, slight chance of snow, very slight on Sunday, but temperatures not looking too bad.
All right, thanks, Andy. Coming up, a chance collectors will not want to miss in tonight's Montana Ag Network feature.
News Leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. Well, for fans of the popular Montana pencil artist Don Graytack, there's a chance to own a final collection of his 4-H calendars to celebrate 30 consecutive years of a very successful 4-H calendar project. The Montana Ag Network's Russell Nemitz tells us more about a special raffle that could make you the proud owner of this wonderful collection.
Well, the Montana 4-H Foundation is set to raffle off a final collection of Don Graytack 4-H calendars to help celebrate 30 consecutive years of a very successful 4-H calendar project. Montana 4-H Foundation Executive Director Sandra Gurman says that those who purchase a 2021 calendar will have 3 chances to win the collection by submitting their name into a drawing.
This year we have a special raffle going on. It's 30 years of the Don Graytack calendars. And I think if we do the math, it's 390 pictures that someone will be receiving. That's 12 months plus the cover page. And we have them in I think it's a birch and maple box made by Jim Potter in Havre. And the top will be leather tooled, made by Ray Beazle out of Lewistown. And so these guys have been great to do this for us. The collection is actually donated by Tom Welch, and he's been an ag educator out of MSU Northern for many years, just retired this year.
She says that over the years, sales from these 4-H calendars have benefited over a generation of local 4-H members throughout Big Sky Country.
All the proceeds go to 4-H, Russell, and it's been a great fundraiser for us. I haven't figured out, because I don't know the early years, but I'm sure that it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that have gone back into the 4-H programs around the state. And that's all thanks to the generosity of, Don Graytack doing these calendars every year. There's never been a duplicate, for 30 years strong, he's been doing these. So we certainly appreciate all of his generous support.
The 2021 calendars are actually on sale right now through your local county extension 4-H offices and the Montana 4-H Foundation office there in Bozeman. And you can contact them at 406-994-5911, or you can purchase them online by visiting the Montana 4-H Foundation's website. In Billings, Russell Nemitz, MTN News.
All right, and we'll wrap things up here on the News at 6 when we come back.
Montana's News Leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back. Well, you may soon need to show proof of a COVID-19 vaccination if you want to travel or get into a movie or a concert. The Common Trust Network and World Economic Forum partnered with hundreds of health systems and airlines to develop an app. It would allow users to upload medical data to create a health certificate or passcode to enter a venue or even another country. Big tech firms like IBM are also trying to develop a usable app. Now, critics say the biggest hurdles are maintaining personal privacy and also considering the effectiveness of the different vaccines.
And taking a final look at the 7-day forecast for the capital city area. Tomorrow, 31 degrees, and wind will be a lot calmer than this, more in the 6 to 10, 20-mile-per-hour gusts are possible. That wind's going to kick up Wednesday and New Year's Eve. It'll start to calm down, but temperatures staying consistent. High 30s taking us right into the new year. Now, up in Great Falls, it will be a little warmer. And with that, it will be windier. That wind staying calm on Tuesday, but picking up Wednesday, Thursday, and right into 2021.
All right, and that does it for the News at 6. We'll be back here at 10 with your latest local headlines and, of course, another look at that weather. We'll see you back here then. Have a great evening.